Hi there, I'm Jade Miles. I'm the author of Futuresteading and the co-host of the Futuresteading podcast that's been around for about a year. I'm chatting to you today from my very favourite place on earth, which is my own kitchen garden here at Blackburn Farm in northeast Victoria, just near Beechworth. We've been here for quite a few years and we run a pick your own fruit orchard and a berry grove, and we also run a whole stack of workshops really to get people to think about their food, to celebrate their food, and to come together over food. So we run workshops around things like homesteading, seed saving, wicking bed workshops, grafting, all of those sorts of things that are kind of skills that are possibly getting lost but are actually really important. We also run lots and lots of schools programs. So we take kids as little as 3 and right up to 18 right through programs to understand where and how their food is grown. We also, which is really important to us, run lots and lots of community potluck gatherings and feasts, because we only are as strong as the community that we live in. But actually what I'm here to talk to you about is Futuresteading. What the heck is Futuresteading? It's a word that you never will have heard, so rest assured, it's not a dogmatic set of rules or instructions or a philosophy, but it's a word that my husband Charlie and I concocted a number of years ago, because really it's the way we live our life. It's about making decisions today that value the life that we will live and the future generations in front of us will live tomorrow. Because imagine we all did, right? And we also talk about all of these things on our podcast through the eyes of the most incredible people that we've interviewed. There's about 50 of them up on the website, doing just amazing things all over Australia and all over the world. So people are starting to get a bit of a feel for what Futuresteading is all about. The best thing about Futuresteading is that even though this is the way I interpret it and this is how I live my life in a homesteading environment on quite a few acres, you don't have to. Absolutely anybody can futurestead. It might be that you live in an apartment in the city. It might be that you live in a share house in Timbuktu. It doesn't matter who you are or how you live, you can futurestead, because it's about embracing a slower life, a life that is less focused on consumption and growth, endless growth. It's about building rituals, some of the little tiny ones that are just for you, and some of the ones that are about bringing your most loved people into the same space. It's about really honouring and understanding that the world is built around seasons, and that we have a need to kind of connect to those seasons too, and we behave differently, and we have different rituals and different processes and different rhythms across the year. It's about really getting to know Mother Nature. You know, she's kind of the most important thing in our world, but so many of us are so disconnected from her, not for any fault of our own, but because life is just like that at the moment. It's about all of these amazing things that anybody can connect to and tap into simply through the decisions that we make. So the book, which I know is the most important part for you, is broken into 2. The first part of the book, which is about the first quarter of it, is filled to the brim with all of the reasons why you would futurestead and who is doing it and different ways in which you can do it. The back half of the book is really practical, it's fun, it's down to earth and easy and achievable and accessible for absolutely anyone. And even though it's told through the lens of my life here at Blackburn Farm, anyone could adapt or adopt the ideas and adapt them to suit them. So it's broken into 6 categories across the seasons. They're my growing seasons. So not 4 that we usually know, but 6. So we start with the awakening, which we know as spring. And then we move into Alive, where the leaves are abundantly falling out of the trees. And all of the food that we've planted in the early awakening is growing. And then we move into High Heat, where we bunker down a little because things are warm. But in the twilight times of the day, we are out and about with all of the people that we love, and we're building those rituals and enjoying those long evenings. And then into Harvest, which is the most exciting part of the year for someone who's growing their own food, because the food just continues to come out of the veggie garden by the bucketful. And then into the Turning, which is kind of the indicator that it's time to turn a little bit inwards as well and start to think about that hibernation period of the deep chill. So they're the 6 seasons, and then within those 6 seasons we've broken it down into Feasting, because my God, it's all about the feast, isn't it? That's where we all come together and celebrate. About Nourishing, it's really important that we look after ourselves through some of the simple actions that we undertake. Through Creating, and they can be really simple things, but just making sure that creation has place, or creating has a place. Through growing, because for me, growing your own food is one of the most ritualistic and worthwhile things that any of us can do, even if it is just that pot of mint on your bench. And ritual. And ritual can be you having a cup of tea at 3 o'clock every day. It can be watching the sun come up every other day. Or it could be those big seasonal events that you do with everybody in your street or everybody in your family, or even bigger than that if you're up for a midwinter bonfire like we do with our winter wassail. So it's about building all of these things that start to layer a life that is rich but simple, that is nurturing but uncomplicated. So it's all of this, it's the way of building a life that is not dogmatic, that is really accessible, that doesn't cost a cent, that you can do with other people, and that really starts to build a world that we all kind of want to live in, because right now I feel a little bit like it's all a bit broken. It's not dogmatic and it's fun. It's about finding the joy in the way we live our life. I don't have the book in my hand yet. It's gone to the printers and I'm expecting it in the next week or so. And then once it goes live in August, we will host a whole series of events all across the country, some here at Blackburn Farm as longer day stay retreats, and then others in some capital cities, half day and full day intro to Futuresteading workshops. We've got a really strong growing community of Futuresteaders, and I hope that you can at some point hold the book in your hand too. I'm really excited to share it with you. It's filled to the brim with the very talented Megan Grant's artwork and photography that makes my life look completely bucolic and beautiful. It's not, clearly, because that would be unrealistic, but you know, it's as aspirational and beautiful as it is practical. Looking forward to meeting you and holding the book in my hand.